It's 11.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
I would like to remind you to please turn off your cell phones and put them away for the remainder of the service. I remember to turn mine off, and I remember the time when I was standing up here and my phone was down to the Anyway, my name is Ann Key, and Gage Pup is our musician. We're glad to have you back. And in addition to that, Tom, of course, is running the video stuff for us, and David's doing the PowerPoint clicker today. And we're going to start by standing and singing Wonderful Words of Life. So please stand up now.
Sing them over again to me, wonderful words of life. Let me more of their beauty see, wonderful words of life. Words of life and beauty, teach me faith and beauty, beautiful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Words of promise for all mankind, wonderful words of life. Bringing comfort and peace of mind, wonderful words of life. Promises to cheer me, words I treasure dearly. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Words of wisdom enrich my soul, wonderful words of life. Ever strengthen and make me whole, wonderful words of life. Gems of wisdom thrilling, thirst for truth fulfilling. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life.
Thank you. Please be seated. I look around and I do not see anybody that is here for the first time. But we're happy everybody else is here. Inside your bulletin, there's a prayer request form, and for the prayer request, you can drop them in the basket of the prayer box that Nick comes by, or drop them in the offering basket. Our own prayer group prays over them for a week, and then they are sent to Silent Unity, where they are prayed over for a month, and the group prayer is very powerful. So if you or anyone you know could benefit from group prayer, please write it down. And the announcements today are, you know that we saved the jackets of our bulletin and use them over, but you can take the insert out, which was made into this Sunday, and we do that through the month. So also we have the July, August daily words in the back. Those are great. Pick one up if you haven't already. And we're always collecting dry goods and toiletries to pass on to various burning groups to help those in need. It's always at the front door. This time it's on the inside of the front door, I think. But any Sunday you want to bring anything, please do, and we pass that on. If you're a member and have not received a copy of the member, if you're a member and a member of the church and have not yet received a copy of the membership manual, Kathy Brown is here today. Hold up your hand. And so talk to her if you need one. And Sherry Thurman is back doing the Women's Monthly Luncheon, which was very nice last time. We went to Chaparral. It's always the third Wednesday of every month. So this time, I don't know what that date is. It doesn't have it on here.
We're going to Dodging Duck.
Yeah. What's the date of it?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday of Dr. But you do need to let Sherry know because we reserve a table for however many people there are. And on Monday, prior to the luncheon, there will be a notice that goes out on email telling you if you haven't RSVP, please do, so we know how many people to expect and she can get a proper table for us. Also, I'm doing the Edgar Casey group. That's the second and fourth Fridays of every month from 10 to 11:30. By the way, the luncheon starts at 11, so we beat the lunch crowd. But the Edgar Casey group, second and fourth Friday from 10 to 11:30. We meet here. If we don't have more than 16, we're in that room. If we have more than 16, we're in this room in a circle. But I do need an RSVP if you're coming because a lot of what we do, I make copies and pass them out, and I only make copies for the head count. So if you know you want to go and haven't yet replied, I did send out an RSVP. So reply that way. Don't just tell me because if I send it my computer, I'll get it and I'll make sure to include you. We're having a great Sunday morning book discussion. It's on SQ 21, Spiritual Intelligence. And it's really, really a good book, very well put together, very well written, and promotes a lot of good discussion, which sometimes we talk a lot more than we read, but that's nice too. So anyway, if you haven't come to that, that's every Sunday morning between 9:30 and 10:30, and when we are finished with that book, then the group decides what the next book they want to do is, and we've had a variety of things over the years, and it's really a nice group. If you're here, you're not here for the first time. If you're not getting our weekly emails, there is a sign-up sheet over there under the chalkboard. And I know that people that have the server HCPC, which is Hill Country Telephone Co-op or something, they're not going to because they won't let constant contact or eye contact come through, period. They're not going to change it. So you need to set up a temporary Gmail or Yahoo or something like that if you want them. But we get on the emails when you get your monthly newsletter, and then you get kind of what's happening coming up for the Sunday and what Jay's title is going to be and things like that. So we also have a lot of ongoing activities via Zoom. They are listed in your order of service on the insert, I believe. They have the login information there and also on unityoflearning.org. You can go on there and get the sign-in information too. And they are in Personal Life, which is a book study on Monday evening with Jay, Course in Miracles, which is on Wednesday evening with Jay, and Pathlighters, which is on Thursday. And you participate in that with Ms. Murray, kind of lead that?
I found this 30 weeks.
Okay.
It's that third off of your building.
Okay, all right, so that's the announcements, and we'll now have the daily word read by Pat Parton.
Good morning. As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers and churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The affirmation for today is inner peace. The peace of God is mine to live and mine to share. Peace flourishes in my awareness of the divine presence within. Flowing from my spiritual center, peace calms my emotions clarifies my thoughts, relaxes my body, and radiates to everyone around me. If peace eludes me, I open myself to anything that may be blocking its flow and invite it to come forward for healing. If I am holding on to resentment or unforgiveness, I pray for the willingness to forgive, affirming divine love through me forgives and releases all bitterness. If fear and worry seep into my thoughts, I remember God is the only presence and power active in the universe, affirming faith dissolves fear and restores peace. I align my thoughts and feelings with God's indwelling presence to live ever more peacefully. The Bible verse today is Romans chapter 14, verse 19. Let us then pursue what makes for peace and for mutual upbuilding. And again, the affirmation, if you choose to make these words your own, the peace of God is mine to live and mine to share. My name is Pat Barton. Thank you for worshiping at Unity of Burning.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you for that.
All right, please stand. We're going to say the miracle moment together.
Make me a blessing, Lord. Help me to help those needing help, to be a blessing to my fellow men. Instruct me when to speak and when to hold my speech, when to be bold in giving and when to withhold. And if I have not strength enough, then give me strength. Lord, make me tough with my own self, but tender towards all others. Let there be an outpouring on me, the gentleness to bless all who have need of gentleness. Give me a word, a touch to fill the lonely life, faith for the ill, and courage to keep hearts up through my own experience just as low. When men have better things to meet, when would accept defeat, then let me lift their eyes to see the vision of thy victory. Help me to help. Help me to give the wisdom and the will to live.
Please remain standing. We're going to have our celebration song now in the showers of blessing.
Now are the showers of blessings sent by the Father of love. Now is the time of expressing bountiful gifts from above. Showers of blessings in store. Windows of heaven are open. Showers of blessings outpour. Now are the showers of blessings meeting our momently need. Now are the riches of heaven healing our hearts of all grief. Showers of blessings in store. Windows of heaven are open. Showers of blessings outpour. Bountiful pleasure fulfilling, pouring upon us, O Lord. Now are the showers of blessings, promises made by thy word. Showers of blessings in store. Windows of heaven are open. Showers of blessings outpour.
Thank you. Remain standing. We'll say our opening prayer together.
Unity of Burning, vibrant, loving, spiritual community, providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Thank you. Please be seated. Jay is going to now do the blessing of the prayer request.
Good morning. church. We are ones who believe in the answered prayer. I would like to take a moment before we get going to make a sort of a personal announcement, because we interact on social media, many of us. Somebody has thought it was a good idea to try to become me and do certain things online that I have no power over, and it's caused a great deal of confusion, particularly there's a Facebook and Twitter and so forth, and banking as well. And it's really kind of interesting because the FBI is involved with this, and I'm cooperating. But if you see something that doesn't look like me, don't answer it, and please tell me. If you see something that comes to you as a request from me for whatever it may be, please know that I wouldn't approach it that way. Let me know about it. This can only help the investigation that's ongoing. This is what price I think you pay for being in the digital age. I'm not bitter about it. I just want it to get better. And as we speak, I think, or starting tomorrow, they'll be working on finding out what happened. So anything, the short statement is, if it doesn't look like me, it's not me. It's not my usual way of dealing with you. It's not me. And please let me know if you get anything, requesting anything from you. Let me know. I'd appreciate it. And so right now, what we do is we bring our highest ideas to light, which is prayer. Prayer is a contemplation of the facts of life from the highest point of view. That wasn't me, that was Ralph Waldo Emerson. And it's the truth. It is what we talk about in New Thought. We don't seek to change things directly. We allow the Spirit to come through us, invigorate us, inspire us, and then we're led to do the next right thing. We believe in divine right action. So if you have a bulletin, you have a prayer request inside your bulletin, you haven't filled it out, please feel free to drop it in the box. Sherry brings it forward. I'll wait for you. Otherwise, some prayer requests we know are only in the heart. And so you may not feel like physically writing them out, but bring them to mind right now during this time of prayer. With all the love in your heart, and there's great amount, because I know all of it. With all the love that we have, we enter right now into this time of prayer. Gracious, loving, and infinite presence, how thankful we are that we're able to come to the ground of our being, make our requests known, not through supplication, not through begging. We're not told. We don't have to do that. We're told that all we have to do is bring them before your throne of glory, and we are guided aright. We know you are the presence we live, move, and have our being in. And we know that when we affirm this, when we recognize this ground of being, it is done to us as we believe. So many things right now seem out of control in our world and divided, and it seems like we always have something perilous going on, but we know you are the light by which we live, we move and have our being, and so we're led to make wonderful decisions of help and healing and hope where it's necessary, because right now we touch the hem of the infinite, and our point of contact, this PowerPoint right now, goes up from us in a wonderful stream of love that mixes with everyone else thinking the same thing. We affirm this is done to us right now, and so it is. Amen.
Now I have special music. Take My Life by Gage.
Holiness, holiness is what I long for. Holiness is
anniversary, something good happened, doesn't matter what it is.
Crowd him over there.
Now, everybody, anybody else have anything they want to celebrate? I'll start down at this end. Name and what you're celebrating.
Bob
We're celebrating our 44th anniversary, 44 terms.
44 years. Your name and what you're celebrating?
My name is Kathy, and I'm celebrating two things. Marlon and I just returned from a 7-day retreat in the mountains outside of Mendocino, California. It was absolutely life-transforming and amazing.
Say what it was. A Sufi.
A Sufi retreat. And the other thing is, if he were still alive, my father would have celebrated his 121st birthday yesterday.
Wow.
And not a day goes by that I'm not grateful that I was chosen to be the son that he never had.
Thank you.
Wow, that's great.
Name and what you're celebrating?
Okay, Diane Taylor, and I'm celebrating my husband and my anniversary yesterday, 61 years. He's in the nursing home, as y'all know, and I went over there and last night we ate dinner together at the nursing home.
How nice.
And it was
How
nice.
nice, 61 years.
61 years.
I'm Gage, and I'm celebrating not my 29th birthday. What are those?
Your other birthday. Which is when, today?
16.
The 16th.
16.
Well, happy birthday. Okay. I'm not sure, this is Brent's deal. What is it?
We honor and celebrate
Impression.
your.
The best is yet to come.
That's the good part.
If anybody wants to put your flowers in here and pick them up later, they can have some water during the service. Okay, thank you all so much. And
Congrats.
Gage is now going to start our meditation song, and then it will be turned over to Jay for our lesson today.
It doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Oh, surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely
place we affirm that, we know that, right down. We take a moment to center ourselves in the love that is the very essence of who we are. We know, we affirm, we live, we believe in this wonderful core of the divine that animates us, in which we do live, move, and have our being. We take a few deep breaths. We become aware, if we worked before, of our feet on the floor, hands in our laps. And where we go right now is a place very familiar to us, even if we don't always get there as much as we'd like. It is the very essence of who we are. And so, as we relax into this meditative state, we affirm and accept that the answers to the things that we need answers to the most speedily fly to us on wings of grace. Whatever it is that we need to know is revealed to us in this special time. Nothing good is withheld from us here. In the silence, we accept health for our mind, our body, our emotions. All we have to do is step into the healing flow. As it says in Romans, let us then pursue what makes for peace and mutual upbuilding. That's what we do in this time. We affirm everything good and wonderful. We remember our divine identity. We are a blessed and wonderful idea in the mind of God. And in this time of contemplation and reflection, we remember it. And if there is anything in our lives that we feel we need to change, that we'd like to see remade or different, we're going to take a moment right now in this very loving presence and energy. We take a moment of silence to visualize in our minds the things that we would like to see and be and do and have, as if they are given us right now. We indeed do have a picture of what we would like to see happening in our lives. We align it with our intention and the Spirit's willingness. The Spirit always says yes. We see these things done to us now as we believe. We forgive ourselves. We forgive others. We forgive incidents from our past. Anything that blocks us from the free flow of divine energy is released right now. In the presence of and in the power of love. We give thanks for this time of renewal and regeneration. And we see our good right now. And inside the settled purpose and calm resolution and a sense of childlike trust and abiding faith, we say, it is so. Amen. This morning I'd like to talk to you about the idea of escaping our comfort zones, or as I titled the message, loving outside the box. I think we're familiar with living outside the box, but have we ever thought about what loving outside the box really means? Because I think that each one of us, whether we know it or not, has a tendency to compartmentalize our lives. I remember as I was growing up, there was church on Sunday, there was school on Monday, there was football on Tuesday. There were all these things, and I kept a mental note of them by compartmentalizing them. And it was really little boxes in my mind. And I realized that as I got older, those boxes just expanded. It was something that I was comfortable with to keep track of my life. But we know that life sometimes happens in wonderful serendipitous moments that come forth and kind of crash into our boxes. Sometimes we call it good, and sometimes we call it not so good. We call it bad, or some folks will say evil. Well, I don't believe in evil because I believe there's only one presence and one power in the universe. That power can be used in evil purposes, much to the detriment of those who have attempted to try it over the years, and will always, unfortunately, I'm afraid, continue to do those types of things. You can't, as my teacher said, you can't pull one over on the universe. And so what we want to do is keep our intentions and our energy field clear. So I ask you this morning, the boxes that you may have, that you felt that you have lived outside of, or perhaps you want to live outside them, I'm going to say, let's go a step further and love outside them. Because the only answer to anything on this planet, in this experience, is love. There is nothing else that's going to work in the end. We can have our precious, darling feelings, and our egos tell us over and over again, or tell someone else rather, if only you had done it my way. What would you do if you couldn't have my advice? What, have you heard that one before? You're lucky that I went through some December. I'm telling you how to get through it. Well, the fact is that they may have gone through it, but you're having your way to walk through it. You can get some general ideas, but your life is yours to live. always an abundance of opinions. But the one thing that counts is what you and Spirit believe, or what you believe about the Spirit inside you, you and Spirit having a partnership, a divine partnership where I'm talking about literally leaning every moment of the day. I think these things that have happened in my life recently have come to remind me to lean consistently. There have been times that I have been tempted to go outside and try to make things work in the way I think they should be. And I've had to step back and say, remember, you're leaning on the everlasting arms, and have they ever failed you? No. But in our humanness, or in my humanness, and I think I say it for all of us because I think we have that tendency, we want to set things right. But really, it's our job to see things right. Everything begins here. I'm pointing to our mind. And it is outpictured in the events of our life. And so many times we spend an inordinate amount of time blaming the mirror for what it projects back to us. How many times have you looked in the mirror and said, you could be different. It could be better. If only. You look at it, see, the mirror tends to be sometimes a great agent of talking back to us. It conjures up a lot of things inside us. That's why I'm such a fan of Louise Hay's mirror work. And for those of you that are not familiar about that, she said that one of the great things to do for your life is to stand in front of a mirror every day and say these words: I love you. I approve of you. I accept you unconditionally. I know you're a work in progress. If you had known better, you would have done better. See what's happening? Her words are helping unravel all the stuff that we've told ourselves about whatever box that we feel comfortable in. Ours is, in this journey of faith, is not so much the getting of something. It's the undoing of an idea about ourselves. The remembrance of who we truly are. We're so much more than flesh and blood and bones. All that is perishable. But remember the scripture, we work for the meat that is not perishable. Ours is more than the dash, the parenthesis of eternity, as Joe Goldsmith called it. Ours life preceded our physical being, and it will go on after our being. How do I know that? Everything in Scripture has said that. Every sacred text in the world affirms that. There have been people who have had what we call near-death experiences that come back and said, it's not only absolutely true, but we've got it backwards down here. That you don't have to do anything to earn your way to love. Love is given freely. And many of those folks were so taken with that experience, they wanted to stay. They didn't necessarily want to come back to this plane of existence. Wow. Mm-hmm. But they had work that they had to do. Each one of us, every soul has a divine mission to accomplish. This is the great, wonderful explanation that Edgar Casey gave so long ago. The idea that we have a mission to fulfill, and we have free will in which to fulfill it, and we choose wisely. We choose wisely based on the input and the information that comes to us. Therefore, it's so important to guard your heart and mind, for out of it proceed the issues of life. Have you heard that before? That comes from Proverbs. See, so many times I do thought, they say, the critics have said, you take Scripture so lightly. Well, no. I take it to mean exactly what it said. When it says, I've come that you have life and have it more abundantly, I believe that that's exactly what Jesus meant. And when we're told to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, I believe that there is a way to do just that. And the way to do that is to stand in the presence of who you really are, whether it's in front of a mirror, lying down, or walking down the street in a busy workday world. You remember who you are. I think there's something in each one of us that knows we're bigger, grander, and greater than anything that can happen to us. Even the nice, wonderful things. We're bigger than all that. Those things in life are temporary. They always seem to come and go. This too shall pass. But we're bigger and grander and greater in the scheme of things than we ever give ourselves credit for. Because we live in a world that likes to tell us to be in a box and to be categorized and numbered or lettered so that we know what to do with you. Break out of your box today. How do you do it? Try something you've never done before. Sometimes just making a decision to do something different is the impetus and the energy you need to start your life in a whole new direction. It may be something as different as deciding which shoe to put on first, or differently. It might be just anything that's different. Make a decision to see how that feels. Go through the initial discomfort of that. We are creatures of habit. We like our boxes. We don't want to be shaken out of them. And that one thing life is going to do is shake us up. And sometimes it's going to shake us down to our very core. And sometimes it's going to shake us so hard that we say, my God, why have you forsaken me? That was Jesus on the cross. We say these things because in our humanness we can't understand. But our soul's evolutionary growth understands. And the place that understands everything is love. You know, people say, we talk about love all the time. Is there anything else that really matters? The only thing that I believe that you can take with you is the love you've given away, the love you've received. And I think that as you're thinking about what boxes you want to crash out of or rearrange or walk in a different way handling them, when you think about that, remember, you don't have all the facts at your hand right away. Life is a great deal of choice, and that what we call chance really isn't chance. It is something that already is ordered by your own choices. We call it karma, we call it cause and effect, we call it kismet, but really all that it is it's a balancing action. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. As you sow, so shall you reap. That's a law of the universe, a law of life. So as you make these decisions, I'd ask you to keep in mind the truth of who you are always. Say those things in front of the mirror that you need to say, be reminded of. And don't let anybody talk you out of your good, the belief you have in yourself and the belief you have in what's coming to you. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote The Game of Life, and one of the things she said, and I love the affirmations that she wrote in her book, my good comes to me in perfect ways, under grace. In other words, we're not asking for something that we're forcing or trying to have our own human will about. We accept gratefully. And we say this or something better for the highest good of all concerned. So I ask you this morning, what box have you been in for a while? What do you call yourself? If I had to ask you to describe yourself, would you consult an idea that is in the past, or would you tell me about what you're wanting to do in the future, or would it be a mixture of both? How would you define your life right now? I'm going to be a little Socratic this morning and ask you to consider some questions that I think each one of us have to answer even in the recesses of our own being. You know, we may not do it out there with others, but life persistently asks us questions inside. And how do I know that? Because we go forth in ways every day, and we'll say to ourselves, where did that come from? I didn't know I was going to act that way. What does this mean? It's always because something has impelled us. We think we're at the mercy of forces that we can't control. But we control them only by welcoming them into us. That's the control, and letting them have its way. It's the old-fashioned idea of surrender. I surrender all. I surrender my human understanding to the greater understanding that God forced within me. It doesn't have to be done with weeping, wailing, gnashing of teeth, guilt, punishment. All those things are the machinations of a human ego. Because love doesn't keep score, and love doesn't ask you to give up anything worthwhile. The only thing love asks you to give up is any judgment, ideas, hatreds, fears, prejudices, whatever it may be about yourself and others. What a wonderful deal of a life. It seems like it'd be so easy for us to accept that, but we don't, because we have these things called egos, and they're bruised, and they get hurt. And we start to hug all those hurts to ourselves. And then we wonder why life doesn't work. It doesn't work because we've gummed up the works. We put the sand in the watch. You know, they talk about a grain of sand messing up the movement of a watch. We've stepped on the hose of divine good. We're we're kinking the hose. We're wondering why our good won't come to us. It's because we're not clear over the channels, because the boxes that we have identified with are not serving us. I could look at you this morning and say, everything that's happened in the last 3 months, digitally, to me, I could tell you reasons why so many things have gone, quote, wrong. But then I wouldn't be leaning in faith. Sometimes you walk through places that aren't fun. Did I ever give the idea that the walk of faith was completely easy and without difficulty? How else would you grow? The repetition of lifting weights builds physical muscle. The living of a life builds spiritual muscle. And so my prayer has been, Divine Spirit, although I don't know why it may be this way right now, I know you're the author, you're the finisher and the perfecter of my faith. And I lean to you. Now, the ego wants more. It wants a timeline. It wants to, how's it going to come? When will this stop? All I know is the more I get my opinion about how things should be out of the way and allow the Spirit to have sway with me, it works. I've known that for 40 years. And then just with things seem to happen that upset the apple cart of life, it's so easy to want to go back and act like a child that doesn't know what they're doing. I've been doing this for a long time. I know what I'm doing. It's just that when I don't release and give things to Spirit, I feel it. Because I'm used to doing it. And I need to remind myself. And this morning, I hope that you remind yourself of who you are. And whatever boxes you've drawn around yourself, figuratively or literally, whatever it may be, that you give the idea some second thoughts about, is this really true for me? Am I satisfied to stay in this box that I have put myself? Because I've got interesting news for you. Nobody puts you in it. You put yourself in it. You put yourself in it by yourself. We love to blame other people. We love to point out that, say, what was it Charlie Rich said? Another somebody done somebody wrong. Or what's called happy hour in so many bars around this city and around this world. I call it the 5 to 6 Ain't It Awful Club. When we go and swap stories about, oh, how bad it is and what victims we are. When we stand up and draw ourselves to our full spiritual height and say, this box may be the way I've allowed it to be right now, but I'm going to block bust. And something is going to be different because it's promised to me if I just change my mind. Why is it so hard for us to change our minds? Why do we get so set in our ways? Well, I'll give you the answer. Fear. Fear. We want things to be, as some people have said, the way they've always been. But even when they were back then, they always were the way they've been. We were hoping for something different then. We're a peculiar group with our egos. But we're a divine group when we remember who we are. My purpose this morning is to help you remember who you are by divine right of consciousness and in fact and in truth. I see you walking forward in newness of life, and I see your good coming to you speedily. I affirm that for myself, and I see it for you. May you walk forward this morning in a spirit of newness, being transformed by the renewing of your mind, knowing that through the infinite spirit, that is you, you can do all things, and you're mighty, do a great work if you allow it. May God bless each and every one of you, and so it is. Now we've come to the point, the place in our service where we are privileged to give as we receive. We all receive something, and what we give comes back to us, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It is promised unto us. And I would like to make a point that I was, Ann talked about Pathlighters earlier and Course in Miracles in our book study, and well, this is Pastor Brothers. I'm going to wait till after the offering to let you know about that. Just didn't want to forget it. Those of you who are tuning in online, if you would press your PayPal button, I would, as a church would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. It allows us to continue to do ministry in all its many permutations and all the ways that I know is blessing so many because I hear about it. So please press the PayPal button on your page, or if you prefer to send your gifts in, please send them to Unity of Fernie, P.O. Box 1973, Fernie, Texas 78006. Thank you, Bob. And now I ask you to give the best gift of which you're able, whether you're online or in front of me, with us first.
Freely I have received, freely I give. Divine love freely blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive. All I have received, freely I give. Divine love freely blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive.
Together, we repeat our prayer for increase. Divine love
Freely blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
Now, I would like to say something before we dismiss. We've got about 4 minutes, and I'll only take 2 of those, I think. Ann talked about what we do in this church beyond Sundays. We have a book study on Monday night that's wonderful from 8 to 9. We have a Course in Miracles on Wednesday night from 8 to 9. And we have Pathlighters, which is a meditative group. And I want to tell you a little about that. That is between 8 and 9. During during the pandemic, when we were pushed away from each other, I envisioned this idea of a way to bring us together digitally. Well, Pathlighters just celebrated its 3rd birthday, and I am so pleased for what it's done. But I've got to tell you, our own Bertie Shaw does a great work with this. I am pleased and proud to be her sponsored pastor in the work that she's done. She's done a great deal of work. But she many times offers a meditation or a thought, and then we have other folks that facilitate Pathlighters. It's just a wonderful group. So if you haven't taken advantage of it, I invite you to. These are the offerings that we have at Unity Burning, and I'm so pleased and so thankful that they are part of who we are. So take advantage of them if you see fit, and God bless you. Thank you.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Together we stand and join hands if we feel comfortable in doing so. Together we say, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Oh, no, I see. Yeah, right. Perfect.
Well, there you have it. Another wonderful service here at Unity of Burning. We like to call it Sunday experience because it starts before the service and goes on for a good part really to the afternoon for some. And there are things that pick up later on in the day that as Brother Jay mentioned, we have another book study coming up tomorrow as well, and events have activities all week long. What it means to us is that there's always something to enrich hope that's our mind, to bring us closer together, to make us more aware of who we are in God and with each other. And the very significant nature that human beings have. I just want to thank you for joining with us again and understand that we're just a personal growth. We don't insist that anybody adhere to this set of local ideas, but rather the ideas of unity, which are about unity and bring us all together. And in that part, being together, being fulfilled, being together with the rest of our human brothers and sisters. We want to wish you the most fulfilling week, and that you may find something new and adventurous that stimulates you to look beyond what you have and what you are today. Thanks so much for joining us here in Bernie, Texas, Unity Church.